In the summer of 1942, as the United States prepared for total war, the Army created a new and untested form of airborne warfare, the glider infantry. Among the first and finest of these units was the 327th Glider Infantry Regiment, activated at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana. Commanded initially by Colonel George S. Ware and later by the seasoned and respected Colonel Joseph H. Harper, the men of the 327th were pioneers of a dangerous and little understood concept: to fly silently into battle aboard unarmed, engineless gliders, land behind enemy lines, and fight as traditional infantry. They were soldiers who would not descend by parachute, but crash land into combat, sometimes at much ridicule from the paratroopers, who would joke and draw pictures showing crashed and broken gliders and would mock them for not even doing a job worthy of hazard pay. Glider training was brutal. The aircraft, fragile frames of steel, tubing, and plywood, covered in fabric, were towed by C-47s, released miles from their targets, and expected to land on open fields under enemy fire. Many broke apart on landing. Some flipped or shattered against trees. The men joked that they were the airborne without silk, but behind the humor lay grim acceptance. Their landings were often harder, their casualties higher, yet they learned to master the art of surviving the crash and fighting immediately afterward. By late 1943, the 327th had earned its place among the airborne elite, attached to the 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles. The division's commander, Major General Maxwell D. Taylor, had confidence in his glidermen. They were disciplined, resourceful, and fearless. On June 6, 1944, the 327th Glider Infantry Regiment joined the great gamble of Operation Overlord, the D-Day invasion of Nazi-occupied France. Unlike the paratroopers of the 501st, 502nd, and 506th, many of the 327th's men landed by sea on Utah Beach, fighting their way inland to link up with airborne forces scattered across Normandy. Others arrived later by glider, landing amid wrecked fields and hedgerows to deliver heavy equipment, ammunition, and reinforcements. The regiment's first major battle came at Carentan, a vital crossroads town connecting the Utah and Omaha beachheads. For 5 days, the 327th fought side by side with the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment in savage, close-quarters combat. German paratroopers from the 6th Fallschirmjäger Regiment defended the town with fanatic determination. The fighting was fierce, often at bayonet range. When Carentan finally fell, the link between the American beaches was secure, and the 327th had earned its reputation. But victory came at a cost: over 1,000 casualties in just the first few weeks in France.
In September 1944, the 327th was once again airborne, this time in Operation Market Garden, the largest airborne assault of the war. Their destination, Eindhoven, Sun, and Veghel in the Netherlands. The regiment's mission was to seize and hold key bridges and protect the narrow lifeline known as Hell's Highway, through which British armor would advance toward the Rhine. The landings went smoothly, but the days that followed were anything but. German counterattacks struck from both flanks, threatening to cut the corridor in half. The 327th fought day and night, often surrounded, using bazookas, captured German guns, and sheer determination to hold the line. In one engagement near Veghel, Colonel Harper's men repelled repeated tank assaults, holding their ground against overwhelming odds. The operation ultimately failed to reach the Rhine, but the 327th's defense kept the entire Allied advance from collapsing. They paid a heavy price, more than 700 casualties in Holland alone.
Then came the winter of 1944. On December 16th, the Germans launched their final great offensive, the Battle of the Bulge. Within days, the 101st Airborne was rushed by truck into the Ardennes to hold the vital crossroads town of Bastogne, Belgium. The 327th Glider Infantry Regiment took up positions on the southeastern and southern sectors of the perimeter, the most exposed sections. For 10 days they faced freezing temperatures, dwindling rations, and constant artillery bombardment. The sky was black with smoke, the snow red with blood. German tanks pressed the attack again and again, but the 327th held. Under Colonel Harper's calm and unshakable leadership, the regiment repelled a massive German assault on Christmas Day, capturing hundreds of prisoners. When a German delegation arrived under a white flag demanding the Americans surrender, General Anthony McAuliffe's now famous reply, "Nuts!" embodied the spirit of the defenders. The 327th lost around 450 men during the siege, but Bastogne never fell. After the Bulge, the 327th pressed on into Germany, helping liberate concentration camps and capture towns deep within Bavaria. In May 1945, they reached Berchtesgaden, where they helped secure Hitler's Eagle's Nest, a symbolic end to their long campaign. From Normandy's hedgerows to Holland's dikes, from Bastogne's snow to the Bavarian Alps, the 327th Glider Infantry Regiment had proven that courage was not confined to parachutes. They had endured some of the highest casualty rates of any infantry regiment in the 101st Airborne, over 1,400 killed and thousands wounded. But their valor was immortalized in their many honors. 2 presidential unit citations, the French Croix de Guerre with Palm, the Belgian Fourragère, and citations from both the French and Dutch governments. They were the silent wings of the Screaming Eagles, soldiers who crash-landed into history and fought with unyielding bravery until the guns fell silent.